Now the auxiliary gate.
You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast, Kentucky's weekly horse racing discussion. And now, here are your hosts, Alan Schneider.
You only use it when it really, really matters, right? You only pull that one out when you really need to hit the bullseye and stuff. But I think it rhymes with bunt.
Geoff Riggs.
Yeah, all I heard was he was having a quote-unquote handyman coming over tonight, so I wasn't going to ask any questions.
And me, CC Broaddus.
Tony is a beer-drinking badass. I want to negotiate. He would kick my ass.
Okay, here we go. July 21st, 2026. It's episode number 248 of the Auxiliary Gate Podcast. I'm CC Broaddus, celebrating 30 days of no incidents at Kroger. I've not been accused of shoplifting in at least 30 days. Also with us, Alan Schneider. Alan, what are you celebrating?
When I go to Publix, I haven't had any problems either. I think they put you for the firing squad if you do anything wrong at Publix. So I guess that's worthy of celebration.
I adore Publix. Publix probably gives away food.
It's a little expensive, but you got to know what you're going in there for. But it's nice, yeah. I live right in between two Publix. I guess two Publicis would be the proper terminology.
Somebody that's well known by the public, Geoff Riggs is here.
What's going on, guys? Have you all ever had a pub sub from Publix?
They're pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid, right?
They kind of overdo it, though. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they pack it in there.
Well, there's no such thing as overdoing a sub, CC.
I know. But I mean, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was worth the money.
It's worth it. Yeah, exactly.
My issue, the one time I got one, I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't know what do you put on it, what cheese, and like I can't remember what I got. It was awkward.
You were just shooting from the hip when you got up there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very awkward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to kind of map it out first.
Hey, real quick, let's talk about. Did you guys see the Haskell over the weekend?
Believe it or not, I have only seen the stretch run on Twitter because I was busy all day Saturday. So I know what happened, yes, but did I watch it? No.
Yeah, I didn't watch it live, but I did watch it.
Lindsey Schultz picked her first Grade 1 victory with Baby Vino. And I'm tell you what, that horse figured. I know it's easy to say after the race. I do have a video. I had that horse picked in my top 3. But that horse did figure. But got a perfect ride, and circumstances basically led to him winning. I think Paco Lopez was more interested in making sure Further Ado lost than making sure that his horse won. But that's regardless. Regardless of that, Baby Vino with a really nice effort, gritty effort to get up and win the Haskell Stakes at 28 to 1, something like that.
I think so. Yeah, it was a big price for what. I mean, it was kind of an outsider, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you talked up Baby Vino on our last pod a little bit as well when we were talking just briefly through the Haskell. But yeah, big price, second longest price on the board, I believe.
Further Ado off the board.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: is Further Ado a fraud?
I wouldn't go that far. It was a sloppy racetrack, right? You're going to have bizarre results on sloppy racetracks and this and that. Some horses will handle it, some horses won't. It'll cause for disparate number of lengths beaten for some horses because if 2 handle it and 5 don't, then you're going to have a big gap back to the rest. So I mean, no, I wouldn't go that far. No, I think you've got to give another. I don't be too reactionary. So no, I wouldn't think so.
I think that's fair, and I think he's got a little bit of like fierceness in him too, where he's just ultra talented, and when he's on his game, nobody else has a chance. But on the days when he's off his game, he's just doesn't show up at all.
And it's hard to call someone a fraud when they've already won the MAC win, they've won the Bluegrass, and what was the 2-year-old race at Churchill last year that he won?
The Kentucky Jockey Club.
Yeah, so Yeah, that's three graded stakes wins, not to mention one of them being a grade one, or I guess it was a bluegrass grade one or grade two. I can never keep it straight, but the bottom line is, I mean, that's a resume right there. Sometimes we have a tendency, I mean, these horse racing people have a tendency to like really get on horses and their resumes and stuff. It's like he's a three-time graded stakes winner if he doesn't do anything else. It's like
Right.
that's not bad. So. Is he quite as good as people thought he might be? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
And one last thing before we move on, at Monmouth, Knightsbridge won the Monmouth Cup by 1 million lengths,
Hmm.
earned a 122 buyer. That's tall cotton. We're talking
Sheesh.
flight line, skip away. That you don't see that number very often. Knightsbridge, is he for real? Is this a? I think the spacing would work out. Maybe he could take on Forever Young in the Jockey Club Gold Cup in early September. That would be
Yeah, he
good.
seems super legit. He's just gotten better with age, and he's had a couple of those just ridiculous wow performances at this point as well.
But
Yeah,
is that race slop aided? I mean, you will have slop aided high numbers lots of
I think
times, right? If things go your own way, or was that race already? Was it not sloppy when he ran the race? I didn't watch any of the Monmouth card. I don't
that
know.
was before the rain got there, so
Oh,
it was on
a little different story then.
yeah, yeah. So we always thought that horse was good from day one. He broke his maiden at Churchill, and
Hmm.
the word was out then. He's had stops and starts, and uh, blew a gasket in the Churchill Downs when the Japanese horse T.O. Elvis beat him. And then how good is Nysos? Nysos blew his doors off in the Met Mile, and then he shows up here and runs that big race. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a lot of nice horses this year. You throw in Magnitude and you throw in Nysos. Journalism had a big effort, got absolutely blew the start, got up to win easily. Ran a really slow number, but obviously a horse with class. So yeah, should be an interesting fall. The Whitney Stakes coming up here in 2 weeks. That should be fun. And also the Cowboy Jones at Ellis Park in August. That's always a big. I'm kidding. It's not, but it's our
Sure it
race.
is.
It's all relative. The Cowboy Jones is a bigger race to me than a lot of the ones you just mentioned. You know how I
Hmm.
don't pay that much attention. Everything's relative. If you're a Fairmount Park believer and you believe they're $40,000 stakes, whatever they have, it's all relative. A lot of those races, those Monmouth races, I didn't care about any of those, but the Cowboy Jones, yeah, I'll watch. It's all
So
Well,
relative.
you're
speaking of Bellis Park, how about the Hall Memorial this past weekend? That was a nice race.
Vanish.
vanishing.
Vanishing was great.
Yeah.
Thought it was cool to see Hear My Song come back and run well again as well. They did a good job, pointing at that race and getting that horse ready to run.
Do you
Right,
think
right.
David Jacobson just has a wheel in his basement that he spins? This is the distance that Banishing is going to run this week.
Vanishing's
Hey,
gonna run.
yeah, mile 3/16 or four
Yeah.
and a half furlongs or seven. It's you just never like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to
Yeah,
the
he's got
distance.
one for the distance and one for the track.
It's true.
Speaking of Ellis Park, Auxiliary Gate Takeover weekend was this past weekend, and I tell you what, I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers. I'm sure the numbers were down, the handle numbers, but I would say it's nothing more than a success.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's probably numbers that probably rivaled the Friends finale, perhaps maybe when they've discovered who shot JR or the final mash, I would think. But it was fun. Joe makes it easy, right? Joe's the point guard extraordinaire, the scoring point guard extraordinaire, right?
Yeah, he's the ultimate point guard for sure. He makes it easy to work with him, and I think us just being friends with him in general is helpful too. I think if you're on the desk with somebody that you're friendly with, it just makes the banter better. It makes the experience better. But no, I've done it a little bit now, and
Yeah, you have.
you guys, I was really impressed by both of you guys. So I just want to get that out there. I know it's been positive responses. Everybody that's talked to me about you guys, they've really enjoyed it. So it'll be great to get back on there again.
Yeah, that's people talk about as good a guy as Joe is. You have to question his judgment because now he wants us to do it more often. So it's about time to get that guy a straight jacket or whatever. But I guess this time I'll have to wear pants because I was going on natural there behind the desk. Just
Hey,
kidding.
you gotta be able to breathe a little bit to be at your best.
Cece, what'd you think?
I got a question for both of you.
Yeah.
What was the what was the easy part and what was the hard part of being live on air?
Well, I have done it one other time, and I don't know if anything was that hard. Because if we've done Ellis Park before, where you're standing out in the heat and you're standing straight up and you're not exactly sure where the camera is, and it's about 115 on your face. So to compare to that, that's much easier. But yeah, the one time I did it with Caitlin before for Turfway, I had the clip-on mic. I'll say this, and of course we had to use the handheld mics. They didn't have mics for us. They're working on that. But maybe getting a little acclimated to the handheld mic, I would say that may be the slightly challenging thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's definitely easier with the clip-on mic, and I'm sure that's coming there. You know, they weren't expecting the auxiliary gate takeover, you know, so
I don't blame
gotta
them.
do what you gotta do. But yeah, I mean, you roll with the punches, and you know, you just have to put in the effort on the front end. I think if there was a hard part, I'd say that's what the hard part is just the week leading up to it. Really digging in and making sure that you're prepared because you know you need to know everything backwards and forwards and upside down in order to do the kind of job that we want to do. And I mean, I think all three of us did well with that. I think that was a positive.
Yeah. I like to ad lib. I don't mind ad libbing, but
Yeah, that's the fun part.
yeah. See, what about you?
I thought the preparation was difficult myself.
Hmm.
I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday parts of each day preparing for that, just because I don't want to look like an idiot, because I mean that's not the apple doesn't fall far from the idiot tree for me.
You're not going to look like an idiot, but I totally get it that you want to be overly prepared.
Right, right, and yeah, I realize I can do it. I can actually do that now,
Yeah.
but the key is, are you good at doing it?
Mhm.
Are you really good? That's where the trick is, because there's a lot of people that are good at that, and like Joe's really good. He's thinking on his feet and all that stuff. That's pretty impressive what he does, and
Well,
and
Joe's
and
unbelievable at it, but also, you know, comes with experience too. You can't expect to be Joe, you know, first time on for sure.
so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, of course, Jeff, you did it all winter.
Yeah.
We did it one time,
Hmm.
but think of those guys that have to do 5 days a week. Like Churchill does it 5 days a week during June.
Hmm.
That is, I mean, like if I did Wednesday, I could do Wednesday. Wednesday would be my best day, but then having to turn around and do Thursday without all the horses running together. I mean, basically, I would have to do all Wednesday night, getting ready for Thursday. Then you got to have a life in there somewhere. So my hat's off to those guys.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
One thing
That's a
they,
great point. That's an
yeah,
absolutely great point. It's very accurate. I think people don't really understand that part of it. I mean, I'm not going to complain and be like, you know, it's the hardest job in the world or anything, but because it's amazing and it's super fun and we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to do it. But like, I mean, you really do have to put in a lot of work in the off time that people don't see. It's not just getting on the desk and talking about the races. I mean, if you're doing a 4-day race week, it's a 7-day work week for you. Those other 3 days are completely full in prep.
they do a good job there during the Churchill meet. They rotate out, right? Caitlin will
Yeah.
man this seat one time. Kilroy will do it this, and Kayla. So they get where they're all they all can step in. So they do a good job because the preparation is a big key point. If they do more preparation, they have to provide the plays the night before
Mhm.
for the Twin Spires site, and they've got to do all these other jobs or whatever. So they have a lot more preparation than people realized because you at the end of the day you have to. And there's the things that Joe does too, like announcing the promotions and keeping track of how many races the jockey won and stuff. That takes a a sortable mind that can compartmentalize and stuff. So very impressive effort on all their parts.
Yep.
I'll say one more thing. Andy Sterling, which, he's a, what do you call it, polarizing personality. He does a 30-minute show, at least 30 minutes prior to every racing day. I guess year round. I don't know if he does it in the winter at Aqueduct or not, but and then he's on TV half the day. So that's a lot of work. I mean, you got to know your shit to do stuff like that. So
You got to have the
That's
passion for it too. I don't know if I have the passion for it. I'm a part-time passion guy.
But then
Where-
on the flip side, out in California, I think Kurt Hoover is probably one of the best to ever do it. But he'll do a 15-minute pre-show with a guest, and in the paddock show, he'll do about 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes. He'll just talk about it, the three horses he likes the most, and then go with it. So, there's different strokes for different folks.
That is a good point. That not, I think the Churchill tracks actually do a great job of giving those people more time to talk. But as you said, the other end of the sword on that is they got to be even extra prepared. So, yeah, I have all the respect in the world for anybody who does that job.
Okay, now it's time for our special guest shortly.
So our guest tonight is a guy who has excelled in two of Kentucky's signature industries, bourbon and horse racing. You've seen and successfully wagered on his partnerships runners such as Velvet Devil, BB Doro, Tony Calo's favorite horse, and Thundering Creed, just to name a few. He scored with Farrell at Ellis Park last weekend, and after that, you were like, you know what, we finally got to get this guy on the podcast. So we invited both the founder and the owner of Blackout Barrel Company and Blackout Racing. His name is Kyle McGinty, and we welcome to the podcast tonight. How you doing there, Kyle?
Fantastic. Glad to be here and talk to you all.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, and I know we talked about it before we went on there, but where are you calling us from?
I am in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm on the east side of Louisville, Kentucky.
See, because I wasn't sure. I was hoping that you were a native Kentuckian, which apparently you are, because you, like I said, with your two signature industries that you have perfected, you are a Kentuckian living the Kentucky dream, right? Excelling in both bourbon and horse racing at the moment,
I
right?
am. Yeah, I've been going to Churchill Downs since I was 5 years old. So I've been around it my whole life. And actually now my kind of mission is we bring people from all across the country into it. We have members in over 40 states. So
Do you really? Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of leads into the next question I was going to ask anyway, because I was going to parallel the whole chicken and egg question. Is like, which came first for you? Was it the bourbon or was it the horses? And I mean, professionally, was it the bourbon, or was it like you were a big fan of horses when you were younger, or which came first?
So I was into horse racing, like I said, my whole life. I've been into horse racing, following along, and I was in other syndicates with Angel Montano and Buff Bradley. And I had a bourbon group on the side. So we're doing our bourbon thing on the side, buying barrels of bourbon for bourbon members. And one day I got the idea to start a horse group with those people. None of them knew anything about horse racing. Most of them had never been to a horse race. And
Wow.
we came together, and D.W. Freeze, who's Mike Tomlinson's assistant, big into bourbon. He's like, let's put something together. And it took us about 8 hours to come up with a 20 claimer. And that's how it all started, with one horse.
How long ago was that?
2018 for the horses and 2016 for the bourbon. So we're approaching 10 years now.
Wow. And you said Angel Montana, the late Angel Montana. For those that don't know, Angel was a long-time trainer here on the Kentucky circuit. Was it the Motley Crue Racing Stable?
It was. Yep, Motley Crue.
Because it's a play on words. It's CREW. It's not like the band, right? Motley Crue.
Correct.
And I think that I used to go to Bungalow Joe's when I lived out that way. I think
Yeah.
that
You'd
guy.
you'd get your winter circle picture at Bungalow Joe's the next month. Yep.
Yeah, that guy's part. I can't remember Joe's last name. It's part of the Motley Crue state. I think I may be wrong about that,
I
but
think you're right.
yeah, that's fantastic. So was it the success of Blackout Barrel Company? Was that the success that led to you purchasing the horses, or you said you already dipped your toe into it? But once you started getting that change from the bourbon, is that when you started throwing money at the horses?
Yeah, we had. So we're kind of a very similar model. Imagine a bourbon syndicate of sorts, where you go out and buy whole barrels of bourbon, because a whole barrel of bourbon's like $10,000, and of course you don't need 150 bottles for your own bar. And you'd get 80 to 100 guys all buy a bottle or two, and then those same people would say, well, I'll throw up a little bit towards a horse. And as we kept buying more barrels, then our first horse comes out, and I think he goes third, first, second, his first three starts, gets a win at Keeneland, and people were hooked. So then it just kind of snowball effect from there. The next January, we're buying a second horse and starting a second syndicate, and it's just grown exponentially since.
Uh, I mean, you've actually really accomplished quite a bit in 10 years. I thought maybe it'd been going a little bit longer than that, but that's quite a bit of success in just one decade, brother. It's sky's the
Yeah, I
limit for
mean,
you, isn't it?
Yeah, we went from a 20 claimer to buying Thundering Creed for 125 within, I think, 1 calendar year. So we went deep immediately once we got once we, I tell everybody, it's a drug you can't sell. When that horse is coming for home and you're winning, it's just like pandemonium. And once people got that thrill, that was it.
You sure as hell just mentioned the name of a horse I'm going to ask you about a little bit later. I'm not going to get out of order here, but that's one of my favorites or whatever. So I'm going to get to Mr. Creed here in a second. Uh, Now, personally, this is a personal thing for Alan Schneider. I have always taken note of Blackout Racing. I think just more so than other syndicates, other ownership groups, because one, I love the logo. The logo always caught my eye, right, on in the program, in the form, on the TV, and in the past before on the jockey's back. And more importantly, number two is Mike Tomlinson is your trainer, and we've had him on the podcast before. Big fans, just think he's one of the best around. Is he the only trainer you've ever had?
That's it. From day one, we've been with Mike. Every horse we've ever owned, every horse we've ever bought, all at Mike's discretion. But he's the best. He's old school. He doesn't put them in over their head. He's patient. It's just everything you would want a trainer. Just trust Mike.
It's so funny because I tell people all the time. Sometimes I don't over handicap. I have my own things set in my head, set in my ways, and there's certain things I look for that just trigger me. And one is if Blackout Racing has a horse and Mike Tomlinson has the horse, and if it's like you can tell how certain guys prepare their horses when they're sitting on a big effort. And I've always felt that way with Mike, and I think you got one of the best trainers out there. Just personally, that's just a little side note.
I definitely agree. I appreciate that.
Now, these horses that you have had over the years, up and down the roster, really have been successful on this circuit for years now. Is there a philosophy that you have that Mike has, the Grayson group as a whole goes by? Because whatever it is, it does seem to work, as we've talked about for the last 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah. So what kind of we do? So everything we own, especially now, but not all the years, but everything we split now is with Patricia's Hope stable of
Yeah.
two Phil's fame, no balls. Um, Vince Foglia was a client of Mike's as well. And once we kind of started buying, a little horse here or there, we were like, we're in this for the fun, not for the money. Let's chop everything in half, the bills and expenses, and then we can go further with what we're doing horse wise, more purchasing power. So once we kind of went to that model, then we just kind of really target anything between 50 and 150. We're not big on like nickel claimers or 12.5. We want to try to stay, where it's worthwhile because they all cost the same each month to keep, to keep sound fed, all that kind of stuff. So we just kind of target that mid-range horse, and stuff with upside. We don't try to get something coming down, and milking the last couple of races out of them. We want to try to get something with some upside, something younger, and it's just been a huge success for us.
Yeah, that business model works because of the couple of horses I'm going to bring up are proof positive that it works. And I'm going to mention these two horses, and then I'm going to let CC and Geoff go. But I personally want to know about these two horses. This is more selfish for Alan Schneider than it actually is trying to make an entertaining podcast. The first is Velvet Devil, and I'm sure you're very partial to that one too. She had a great 2025, really fast sprinter, bagged 2 salty allowance wins around here, and I think she banked almost $300,000. She hasn't run since early February at Oaklawn. Will we see her again? I know she had 2 wins at Keeneland. Are you pointing there, or is she still racing, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so Velvet's one. We bought her as a yearling. I think she was like 130 Keeneland September purchase with Patricia's Hope. Took her a little while to get going. I think she debuted at 3, not at 2. But she was fantastic. She was just a heck of a runner last year. Bounced back this year and just didn't kind of seem herself. Ran in February at Oaklawn and just didn't. She's not herself. So we ended up giving her 90 days off on the farm. So she's resting up right now. Should be coming back here, I would say, the next month. So she'll probably debut either at Keeneland again in the fall or at Churchill in November. But yeah, we definitely plan on racing her again.
At Keeneland, because again, I believe she has 2 wins there, right? So that I thought
Yes,
you guys
she
might be
broke
pointing.
she broke her maiden there after running second at Fairgrounds to 2 nice Brad Cox fillies, and then backed it up last fall in the slop. Yeah, and we still have not got her on grass. We still kind of bought her originally thinking grass. And then, she has a half schoolyard Superman that was was it Withers, or he was right on the Derby Trail, trained by Chad Brown, another speed horse. So, we still think she has a bright future. She's the first foal of her mom, Tiz Legal. So, we'll see what the future has for her, but we definitely hope to have her back this fall.
Awesome. Looking forward to it because it's one of my favorites and dead game sprinter, dead game female sprinter there. So the other
Yeah.
one I want to ask about is my actual personal Blackout favorite. And I alluded to this earlier. It's weird because I watched Rocky last night, as a matter of fact, for the 87th time. Thundering Creed. Uh, she banked just 18 races. I think I saw she banked over $400,000. She hasn't raced. She last raced 3 years ago. I know she's retired. Is there any chance she's playing the role of Mama now after a successful career?
Well, no, unfortunately so. Unfortunately with her, she had a freak accident on the training
Oh,
track. Would have been right after the Pimlico, that race. And she passed away on the track, actually. Yeah, she had a freak accident, and that was a tough pill to swallow.
I
That
bet.
was, because this group, you tell something worth so much that we all love so much. I mean, my daughter's favorite horse, and to have something so tragic happen, and then, but we kind of, it was kind of like the turning point for Blackout. Like, if we can absorb this, and everybody, can understand the lows of this game, and we all came back together and just regrouped and went forward with it. So. It was a tough pill to swallow, but I was proud of how resilient everybody was to kind of stay in the game and not be turned off by something so freak of an accident that happens.
Well, let's honor her real quick. But maybe you could give us a couple of favorite moments of her career for you as a bit of an homage to such a great racehorse.
It's definitely for sure coming in. She ran second in the grade two at Keeneland to Caravel, and then Caravel comes right back and wins the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Yes, yes.
So that was crazy. But more than anything with Creed is her personality. She wasn't lovey dovey, but if you came around that corner of the barn, she was going to nicker at you for her mints. And I mean, she was a peppermint eating machine. So we spent a lot of time with her. She had a cool personality.
That's awesome. I'll let these guys take over. We're going to cycle back to me, I assure you. But that's a great story with Creed. So I'm sorry about the loss of the horse, but with that said, I'll let CC Broaddus take over.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for doing this, first of all.
Oh, no problem.
I'm going to ask you about another horse in your stable before we get into bourbon. Ballerina came on everybody's radar in her debut, where she was like a million lengths behind early and closed to, I think, split the field in her debut. Looked like
Hmm.
a private sale after that race, I think. I'm doing this from memory, but it was a private sale to you all after that debut race.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, now she's raced 3 times since then. Really nice filly, I think. Now she's going this weekend at Ellis Park. Can you tell us anything about Ballerina?
Yeah, she's doing fantastic. It took her a little while to kind of grow up and kind of, last year as a 2-year-old, she was still kind of what I always call like a puppy. She still had like that puppy mentality. And now she's kind of grown into herself a little bit over the winter. But she's got a heart. Lost to a heck of a filly last time.
Yes, yes.
Twirling Aces, Brendan Walsh, who bounced back and destroyed the field. And then I believe the horse that came in third to us at Churchill came back and won too at Ellis. So she's doing great, great closer. We'll see. I mean, she could probably go to 7 furlongs, get a little more distance. But she gives you her effort every time. So we're really thrilled with her, and hopefully she can run a big effort on Friday.
So you're guaranteeing a win? Is that right?
I've been around this too much already to know nothing's a guarantee, but I think as long as the jockey stays on, she'll give a good effort.
I need you to guarantee a win real quick because I'm on air Friday. So it would really make me look smart if you called your shot with this horse. Okay, so I can't get you to call your shot.
All right, I'll go ahead and say it. She'll win by 3.5.
All right, all right. Watch the show on Friday. I'll quote that.
There we go.
All right. Let's talk about Blackout Bourbon. I
Okay.
got a lot of questions about this. On your website, and you talked about it earlier, that you could buy a barrel. Why would somebody want to buy a barrel of bourbon, first of all? And then secondly, what do you do with the barrel after you buy it?
Okay, yeah. So I guess a real quick history story of how it works. So back when this bourbon boom's coming on 10 years ago, everybody's chasing bourbon. Pappy's big, and everybody's the Buffalo Trace Pappy heist. bourbon's just going through the roof. Good bourbon was hard to find. You couldn't just go to the store. You had to go to these lotteries and this and that. So we would come together and you would go to a distillery, Willet, Buffalo Trace, Heaven Hill, Four Roses, and you and your friends could go in there and taste through 5, 10, 20 barrels of bourbon, pick your favorite one, and then they would bottle it with your logo. So then you come home and get it, and everybody in your group gets a bottle. So it was initially a way to get a good barrel that one, you got to try before you buy versus going to this, liquor barn and buying it off the shelf. And two, it had your logo. It had the meat, you and your friends take a trip. Like we went up to Whistle Pig in Vermont, 12 of us, spent 3 days up in Vermont picking barrels. And it just, those trips meant something. Then as bourbon became even more hard to get, those were hard to get. So I had got personally invited to a distillery to buy barrels at the time with no bottling plan. Like they would just sell me barrels that I had to pay for storage. And so we did. We're like, let's just buy some of these barrels and eventually we'll just bottle it under our own label. Well, it took a couple of years and ended up buying a few more and a few more. And then we ended up buying like 300 before it was all said and done. We couldn't get enough of it. We're like, we get to buy barrels of bourbon and we're going to put our horse on it, which that are on our label is our first win at Churchill. Bell Tapisserie is on our label. So it's got significant meaning there. So then from that point, it became, all the people who own the horses get to buy bourbon. So then they get to tell their friends, hey, this is the group I'm in. This is our own private bourbon. Nobody else gets, et cetera. It's got our horse on the label. And then our members get to come out and, go to our warehouse and try stuff and be a part of it. So they go hand in hand, bourbon and horse racing. So it's a very unique opportunity for our members to be able to participate in both.
Okay, so there's a video on YouTube from a show called Oak and Agave.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They taste tested your bourbon, and there was rave reviews about it. They loved it. The one guy said he would drink it every day. I noted, or they noted that they could taste hints of like Coca-Cola, caramel.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Down.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a vanilla ice cream flavor. I mean, is that by design, or is that?
So everything is subject to taste, just like some people like chocolate chip cookies, some people like sugar cookies. But what does stand out for us is a lot of bourbons out there don't have what they call an age statement. So it could be 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, etc. Everything we've ever put in the bottle is at least 8 years old because we're not in this to make money. We're in this just to make a good product and have fun with this whole experiment we're doing. So it does become a premium product. So like last year, we actually entered the world's largest bourbon competition, and we were a finalist for the world's best single barrel. We got to fly out to San Francisco and attend the awards ceremony. It was, our barrel won a double gold. So we've actually won several awards for our bourbon too, just by giving it the time to age and making sure it's a good product before we put it in the bottle. Because like I said, we're not trying to, pay off the mortgage with the money. So it's just kind of a fun thing to do to put it the best product we can.
Plug your product and your website.
So you can buy all of our products and learn more about us at blackoutRacingStable.com. There's a direct link to shop for our product. And then we're also in Justin's House of Bourbon in Louisville, which is a great bourbon bar downtown that a lot of tourists visit.
Is it available in bars? Is that something you shoot
Yeah, a
for?
little bit.
Yeah,
North of Bourbon has it by the pour. Mill Iron 4 does by the pour. Their owner's a member of ours and a good friend. And then we're based out of Louisville, which actually this has been perfect. We moved there in November and it is on 7th and Central. So I can literally go to the roof and watch the big screen from the roof of the distillery. Now I can't make it to the winner's circle if we win. So I have to actually go to Churchill for the races, but being right there on top of each other is perfect for us.
Is that something you target? I mean, like we got to make sales in some of these bars. Are you going to try to expand that or?
Yeah, we've started expanding this year because previously it was just our members got it. So now what we do is since we've expanded, we've just developed our membership program to get discounts. Like our members get free shipping, they get discounts, they get to do quarterly tastings, that kind of stuff, to enhance their membership.
I'll ask one question. I'll turn it over to Geoff. One more question. That is, what racetrack in Kentucky would be your favorite track to win at?
That is a good question. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Churchill, just because I'm from Louisville. I grew up at Churchill. We've won the most at Churchill, but obviously Keeneland is special. And there was a time we won with Mega City. He was like 50 to 1 or 50 to 1, 40 to 1, something like that. And he wins. And Todd Shrew picks up our blackout flat and he's waving it on TV. And he interviews me and he's like, 45 to 1. He's like, have you ever ran at Keeneland before? I was like, we've actually ran 4 times. We had 4 wins.
Wow.
he, he thought I was being crazy, but I was like, we were 4 for 4 in our first 4 starts at Keeneland, which is amazing. So we have a great Keeneland story too, and then Thunder and Creed won at Kentucky Downs, so that was pretty special because they gave you back then they gave us engraved bourbon bottles. So after you win, they had like an engraved bottle with the date on it, had our name on it, our silks on it, the time, everything, and then they let us do replicas for our members. So that's really cool what Kentucky Downs does when you win a race.
Yeah. Oh, Kentucky Downs is the best. I love it down there. All right, Geoff, take it away.
All right. Yeah, Kyle, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. First of
Oh, no
all,
problem.
I've been a fan of you guys for a good while. Horses and bourbon are two of my favorite things in the world, being a Kentucky boy myself. So the setup is definitely interesting to me. For anybody interested out there, how are your racing partnerships set up? You know, like initial investment, monthly costs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so our memberships now, everybody, we've restructured last year to include every horse in our syndicate. So previously, when you had to like kind of pick a horse kind of thing, like some of them do just like buy-ins on specific horses. We do one flat fee and it includes everything we own. So right now we have 7 in training. You get all 7. We have 2 tiers of membership. We call them gold and silver. And the gold membership is a $2,000 initial investment and then $400 in quarterly dues. And then the silver is $1,200 in quarterly dues. So it's half price. The gold members get 2 shares, silver members get 1. So very reasonable for 7 horses of this caliber that we have, to be paying, $1,000 up front, $800 a year. We have like 250 members right now. So somewhat of a large syndicate, but not major, micro share kind of thing.
Very cool. Yeah, like what are some of the perks that come along with being a member of a racing partnership like that?
Yeah, so what we do is we try to enhance the experience. So we're also, kind of like we started as a bourbon and social club, and we're big into charity. We do golf scrambles. We have a membership at the Thoroughbred Club of America that we let our members use. The Louisville Thoroughbred Society. We do quarterly bourbon tastings. We host meet and greets at the tracks. People can come out and meet the horses, that kind of thing. Turf Club membership. So we try to just enhance the experience to get people to the races and attend and participate. We've had really good cheer. We've given $1 million to charity
Wow.
since we've started, and it's all
That's
self-funded.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
no corporate sponsors, just golf scrambles, bourbon tastings, dinners, that kind of thing. So, really, we want it to be kind of a whole experience. Now, like I said, we have members in Alaska, but we have a lot of people in Kentucky that come. But so people are welcome. We do something called like our Blackout Week. So we'll go to Keeneland, we'll have our golf scramble, we'll do bourbon tastings, that kind of thing.
Very cool. Yeah, I just love that setup being available, and I think horse racing ownership is more attainable than people realize in things like this. You know, I'm involved with Brilliant Racing and going to be a managing partner moving forward in that, and we're kind of involved at the same level, and definitely respect the way you all do things. One thing. Can you talk a little bit about how it is buying racing prospects at that kind of mid-level? That's kind of like what we do as well, trying to find nice horses but without spending $500,000 on a horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've dabbled all over. We went from 30,000 yearlings to a 200,000, and our 200,000 never made it to the track. So we're kind of the belief with ours, we can't absorb the misses as much. So like, if you have 200,000 to spend, I'd rather have 4 $50,000 yearlings than 1 $200. And what we really target, and of course I trust John Fahey, the bloodstock agent who helps us, and then of course Mike's eye and DW's eye, but we want something that's sound and confirmation more than breeding. Like we don't want a $50,000 gun runner. We want something, last year we bought our early voting Colton and they seem to be taking off right now. So we're excited about him. So just something with great confirmation and maybe less breeding, but then you're getting a great individual and what the Tomlinson barn, take it from there.
Yeah, 1,000% agree. You have to target the athlete rather than the pedigree a lot of the times if you're gonna find find one that's maybe under the radar with as competitive as the sales are these days.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
I believe I saw you all have some exclusive bourbons that are only available to your racing partners too, right?
Yeah, we have specific members only releases. So, of our 300 barrels we own, probably 75% are like internal, we call internal member releases.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of the members. So what we do is like, when we drop a release, if we're bottling 3 barrels this week, members will go onto a little website and buy it, and it ships directly to them. And then our members pick our barrels. So we'll help, like we hosted them in June. 20 people comes out to the warehouse, sample some barrels. Okay, I like this one. Let's go with this one next, and that kind of thing. So, and then also, I don't know if you've seen it on the website, something really cool we did. My business partner Sean Dolly came up with. We do, because people like packaging. So Pappy comes in like a velvet bag. So we came up with the idea to do velvet bags, but our bag color matches the age. So our 8 is a pink, just like the jockey tout silk.
Oh,
Our
Oh,
our
very
9
cool.
is turquoise, our 10 is purple, and that has been a huge success. Like we just dropped our 12 years, so it's got the lime green, and people are like, oh, we haven't dropped the 8 yet. Everybody's like, when's the pink bag come out? When does the pink bag come out? So it's a nice touch for our packaging to associate just more horse racing and bourbon together.
I love that. It's very
Yeah.
creative, and keeps that connection going on. I know you mentioned a couple earlier, but what distilleries do you guys partner with, or is it just one by one where you find a barrel you like?
So we source from all kinds of distilleries. We've got bourbon from Buffalo Trace to Castle and Key to Wilderness Trail to MGP, which is an Indiana bourbon, but it's like the largest distillery in the world. So they make a ton of bourbon. But so we have all kinds of mash bills and ages, Wild Turkey. But we store, bottle, and all of our production goes on at Old Louisville Whiskey Company, which is they just moved into, and it's a 100-year-old distillery building right on 7th and Central. So it's old Seagram's buildings, right there, right up Central. So it's perfect for us right now, our setup.
Very cool. Um, I mean, I'll turn you back over to Alan here in a second because I know he's got some more stuff for you. But I got to ask before I let you go. One, what's your favorite racing memory so far? And two, what is your favorite bourbon related memory so far?
Oh. Racing memory, I'm gonna have to go with that first win at Churchill.
Yeah.
Growing up, going to Churchill with my dad, since like I said, since I was 5 years old, I still remember the first horse I ever bet on. His name was Water Ice, and I think I had 2 to show, and then I was addicted once I got my $3 back. Um, and then, but yeah, going to that first Churchill memory where we're winning, my wife's there, my kids, my family, all the members, like we never won at Churchill. Like that experience is hard to replicate. I mean, we've been blessed with a lot of wins, but there's nothing like that first win at Churchill. And then bourbon wise, it's probably last year at the San Francisco Awards when we were, a finalist for World's Best Single Barrel. To get recognized, to have a product that at that level just kind of shows the commitment we've made and how I think we're doing things the right way.
Yeah, that's an honor for sure, and I love that you talked about that first one at Churchill. I think that's something that people don't realize until you are part of owning horses. Like when you see your horse cross the finish line first at your home track like that, there's no feeling in the world. I think you said it earlier. It's a drug that you can't buy, and it's better than anything in the world. So I back that up for sure, and appreciate you, and hopefully much success moving forward. And Alan, I'll kick it back to you. I know you got a couple more things for Kyle.
yeah. We're sitting here talking about. I know CC brought ballerina, and you're talking about how you like to buy horses in the $50,000 to $150,000 range. And if I'm not mistaken, I read that you guys, the private sales CC talk. You bought that horse for 20 grand. Am I right about that?
No, it was 125,000.
Okay, I'm thinking of another horse I saw. I thought because I was like 20, that would be a heck of a ballerina for 20,000 would be a heck of a price. So, uh, but again, we got you on record now. You can get all that money back because we're gonna bet a whole bunch of money on your horse this weekend since you guarantee to win. So that's Friday in the last race, right?
Yeah, Friday. Except yeah, because Saturday we have on the level. Yeah, so Friday's last race.
Okay. And one last thing, before as I was doing my uh, exhaustive research for this interview, I may have done a little Facebook snooping under the guise of research, right? And looking at your page, and I'm guessing you're a Kentucky Wildcat football fan like myself, living in
I
Louisville. Is
am.
that true?
I am. Go Big Blue. Yeah, we have a lot of members actually who are tailgate and travel. We actually had, I think, like 20 of us go to the UT game 2 years ago in Austin. Big group of us go. So, yeah, we try to do the social events based around. But we've got a lot of U of L friends too. So Coach Brom comes by the Derby party and has a few bottles of Blackout Bourbon. So we got love for everybody, but go Blue.
Awesome. So we got, as you know, there's a lot maybe people outside the bluegrass here don't realize we finally have a well, not finally. I should. We have a new coach this year that we're all excited about from Oregon named Will Stein. What do you think is the prognosis? Are you excited about that? Because I'm looking forward to going down and seeing some high level football, and hopefully it's on our side this time too.
Oh, I'm so pumped up. I mean, I used to be a big season ticket holder, and we got rid of our tickets, and
I know
I
the
just got
feeling.
to the point that, like, I don't care if we go 0-10 this year, but just lose like 49-38 every game, like because winning 14-10 and watching that football for the last few years has just been like, oh, so exhausting. So I'm hoping this year there's some excitement because, again, win or lose, I just want to see exciting football, and we have not seen that in a while in Kentucky.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, I'm 56, so you've seen some bad years. I've probably seen more bad years than you
Yeah.
have, but we've still seen our share of bad years. And I plan on being down there for some of the big games this year. So hopefully we run into each other. I can try some of this blackout bourbon. I'm not much of a bourbon drinker, but you can teach me. Is that cool?
That's it. Yep, it's good stuff. We'll have some with us. Don't you worry.
All right. Well, I tell you what, this has been a wonderful interview, Kyle. You're a wonderful interview, as Geoff says, and I'm sure CC agrees. We wish you the best of luck. Go ballerina and go to all the horses in the blackout stable. So thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, looking over the stake schedule this weekend. Nothing at Ellis. I think Sunday there's a lot of 2-year-old racing, so that'll be fun. That's a lot of the good 2-year-olds are starting to come out of the woodwork here in the next several weeks. So that'll be fun to watch. I'm trying to figure out Coaching Club American Oaks is on Saturday at Saratoga. That'll be fun. You get the return of the Kentucky Oaks winner, always a runner, and the Acorn winner, Counting Stars. So that should be a good race. A field of 9, although I think a few of them might scratch. But and then you got the Bing Crosby at Del Mar. That'd be fun. So yeah, summer racing in full gear.
And
And then
you'll be
I'm
on
sorry.
site. You'll be on site at Ellis, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan on Sunday. Maybe another auxiliary gate takeover for this weekend. But and then in 2 weeks, Ellis has 2 really special weekends of racing. They've got all these new revamped stakes races: the Green River Island 300,000, the Pucker Up, the Sun Kissed, the Tri-State Turf Sprint, the Water Tower, the Jeff Riggs Memorial. A lot going on. And then the following week, August the 10th. No, August the 9th. Got the Audubon Oaks, the Ellis Park Debutante, $400,000 Ellis Park Derby, Ellis Park Juvenile, Groupie Doll, and of course the Cowboy Jones at 1 mile for older horses.
When we're living on Mars or whatever the future generations living on Mars and Jupiter and whatever the future holds for civilization as we know it, you always know that 100 years from now, 150 years from now, they're going to think back to 2026 to the inaugural running of the Ellis Park Water Tower, right? That's going to be a date that lives in infamy. That's a linchpin date right there. Pay attention to the water tower.
Well, the Water Tower doesn't even exist. They took it down.
How ironic.
Yeah.
So so the homage is to name the stakes race after it.
Yeah, it's the Water Tower Memorial.
There you go. The water tower. There you go.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pictures ever at UCC is with that the Pucker Up sign that we got last year.
Right. I was trying to kiss the blanket or something, right?
Yep. It was the blanket, the winner's blanket.
What a day that was. It was only 150 degrees.
Yeah, very comfortable out there.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Anything else you want to say before we split?
No, we're good.
Okay. On behalf of Kyle McGinty of Blackout Bourbon, Blackout Racing, and of course, Alan Schneider, Jeff Riggs, and a cast of thousands behind the scenes, I'm CC Broaddus, reminding you in the words of Jerry Romans, we're not happy until you're not happy. Good night.